Hello guys, today I'm going to show you guys my game from Worlds this January 2023 on LA Convention Center. Um, this was on round 2 when I was facing a Steam Maiden with my Link Joker Chaos Messiah. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, we start off with was waiting for the game quite a long time because they have to wait until the judges are ready. I mean, the commentator are ready. All right, it starts with Michael. He write down a Steam Maiden Grade 1, and I had a pretty good early setup, so I ended up writing Lagrange art and was able to lock a vocal from him, and then I also got a Craving Claw out of it, which is pretty nice. And then yeah, it's pretty much a pretty good early game setup. I was able to get Zirconium, but out of this, actually, I was aiming to get Chaos Breaker because for some reason I couldn't get a Chaos Breaker in my hand. Maybe because there's 3 copies in my deck. When I put 4 in my deck, I always get like 2 or 3 copies in my hand, so that's why I only played 3. But yeah, and then Michael here with Lost Break, right? I was pretty set up. I believe I have a Heal Guardian early game, but since I go second, I had to really play defensively. Because none of my effect really works until I'm grade 3. So at this point, I've actually started to think, hopefully, it doesn't really rush me that much. I was thinking to do Zirconium and lock one of his board, but later on we'll find out that Michael was able to make a full field out of his board because of Antirana, which we now later found out that's got banned now. It's the entire engine of Steam Maiden. Yeah, I was thinking to write Zirconium, but I ended up writing Burstmong, which is not a bad thing because once I write to grade 3, it becomes in my soul and soul blast it. When the Burstmong's in the drop zone, which is a good thing with my alter ego combo. It was very scary playing the laugh commentary game. This is my very first experience playing in this big kind of field tournaments, so it's pretty interesting experience. Yeah, and he's able to rush me with his full board, 3 attacks, big swing. So in here, I didn't use my Hill Guardians because I was saving it up for the next turn because the grade 2 turns when on my grade 2, it means my opponents will be on grade 3, which is where the big Steam Maiden turn is. And with my hand, I want to save as much as possible, so I ended up not using Heal Guardian. This crit really hurts me. Um, I was I was like thinking, maybe I should use the Heal Guardian, but no, I ended up just like saving it up. But yeah, overall, it's pretty aggressive for my opponent to play his full board like that, since he knows that he's going first, right? So, and yeah, in here I was debating, if I swing the face, that means he'll have 1 CB, 1 counter blast with Steam Maiden from Uluru Grid 0. He can swing attack me with 6 attacks. With this current hand, and I'm in grade 2, it's very tough. So I ended up choosing to swing side, ignoring the Craving Claw skill because Craving Claw needs to hit the Vanguard. It took me a while to figure it out, and then yeah, the judges told the bind zone needs to be cleared for the camera to be seen. But yeah, this round 2 was pretty one of the hardest matchup I faced. And in round 3, I was facing Sean Ko from, I believe he's in Vancouver. Yeah, I lost to his Ange, which is my pretty bad matchup. And after that, I faced another Steam Maiden, which I didn't lose again a single game after this until round 5 and 6 and round 3. Yeah, I ended up going 3-3. I was too nervous at the end, but it's pretty good experience. So yeah, I ended up damage denying Michael here, because his board is it's pretty set up already. He's bind zone. Look at that, a grade 0, and he has a grade 1 in soul. So yeah, I was pretty terrified. So in this current situation, I have to I know he will attack me 5 times, 5 attacks, because binding an Uluru, no, binding a card from a drop, and then you call it Uluru, and Uluru goes to grade 1, grade 2 Steam Maiden, but he cannot go over that because I purposely giving damage 9. Because as soon as I reach my grade 3, I if I can get to Chaos Breaker, actually I was really hoping that I can get Chaos Breaker on my next run. Because in my hand I only have Alter Ego. Yeah, he's swinging with his Uluru, so this is where I decided to use a Heal Guardian, because increasing it my Vanguard to by 10,000 power, which is harder for him to hit me. But his bind zones start building up, so I gotta really guard really hard at this point. Swinging with his Antirana to my Vanguard, and this is where I start debating, should I guard in here, waste more hands or not? And then I guess like this was the easier guard, so I used my quick shield there. It's 5k guards the imbo. And then with that attack, he was able to build up his bind zone again, which is in long term is pretty bad for me. I only have 6 cards hand there, so yeah, it's a pretty tough matchup, I would say. I thought I was gonna lose, to be honest. There are a few times where I could have lost, and I did some misplays too. If you guys see that Volko got in damage zone, I didn't end up counter blasting later on, which result me at the end game almost lost. But the Volko got in damage zone will help me in the long run. I should when I heal later on in the game. Anyways, so Michael here damage dry checking blanks. Because his Antirana was Gearcat was checking triggers all the time, so I started realizing a pattern later on. Luckily he didn't pull a crit, because he crit put me in a dire situation. I'll be at 5. So here I couldn't get the Chaos Breaker. In this case, I would want a Chaos Breaker, because that means I was able to lock his board. But I was not able to get Chaos Breaker, so and in here I choose Force too, because looking from the damage zone and the game, how the game goes long, if I ever ride the Chaos Breaker, I won't be able to steal a lot of his marker, because I know Steamy doesn't really ride that much. So in here I decided Force 2, and that means if I was able to get the 3 Force 2 in the front row, that means my opponent's life will be cut in half. So that means all I have to do is just deal him 2 more hits, and that's it. Here I was hoping for the Burst Monk combo with Volko, but he didn't get it. I was surprised that my opponent guarded though. If he'd taken this attack from the Alter Ego swing, I think he was able to kill me next turn. But I was surprised he guarded it, so... And I drop check blanks, I think? Yeah, no, I drop check almost nothing. I forgot. Anyway, and Vocal. So I ended up choosing damage denying him, which is pretty solid. This guarding actually saves me. Because I was hoping to get like a greater burst monk, but there are times where I always hit it the entire day, but there are times in that day during the LA event, I didn't hit a single grade 3 out with the burst monk. So yeah, I ended up playing the long game after that. And then Volco there, that Volco actually really solid. It stays until the end of the game. And yeah, I was able to getting this drop PG out of it and a Harmonics Messiah. The drop PG is pretty solid because I can guard his Vanguard swing, his big Vanguard swing easily. And that Harmonics is not a bad card. There's a reason. My deck, if you guys see my deck list, which I'll post later in description. Yeah, Harmonics actually not a bad card. The reason why I run one in this deck list is because I want to draw it, but I also don't want to draw it early game. So it's a good late game finisher, but it's a bad early game. If I want to, I can actually use Caldron Wing and Lagrangia to soul charge a card randomly from top deck, hoping to get a grade 3 or more. But yeah, that's also a gamble. So yeah, riding Alter Ego or Chaos Breaker or Bound even. Yeah, so yeah, Bound there. I actually play Bound in this deck because I was able to match up the Steam Maiden's power so I can play defensively to catch up his momentum, and he can't swing me because his bind zone is just large. Or in index that can like Tavas and then Vanquisher or Luar, their power usually are bigger than Vanguard, so I can copy their power and their riggers can swing. It's harder for them to multi-attack, so I can just like stall until I get my pieces, just counter-attack them. And in here, my opponent starting aggressively attacking. I still keep him in check with 2 damage because if I can get the 3 force marker on my board, that means I can cut his life down to half. I'm calculating here. I'm trying to conserve as many shields as I can. A single 5k will help in a later game, I thought. So yeah, I was end up losing my Lagrangia there. Might be able to save me. But yeah, his Vanguard swing, I can guard his Vanguard swing with the PGI which I draw. And it's just getting bigger and bigger, which is pretty hard eventually for me to guard. But a good thing he didn't check any triggers there, because if there's a single crit, it will help. It will actually harder for me to guard. I should be able to guard, but it will be harder next turn. But yeah, so in here, I was kind of scared there because I keep losing my grade 3s. I want to have a lot of grade 3s in my deck so I can use Burst Monk. Yeah, I was able to top a Chaos Breaker, but I did a big misplay in here actually. I was supposed to lock a back row, the center back row there, and then move it up to the front row, and then steal in the force. But in this case, it was a worse play, I think. I think that will be a better play by locking the back row and then moving Craving Claw to the front row, and then I'll call Zirconium again and then lock the back row, which I draw a card plus 10k, and then use Craving Claw skill to move the new back row one to another front row circle. That means in that case I will be able to lock his front rows and also kill his Gear Cat, because his Gear Cat is actually scary. It's basically like a 15k booster there. I just realized it like at this moment that I fucked up. I misplayed here. It'll be a better play, yes, because I will draw more cards and still giving enough pressure. In here though, I was able to get to 3 force 2 on the front row, so cutting down my opponent's life in half, and he took the Volco, which is really good because that means I just need to give him one more time. Although with his large hand, I let him having his large hand because I know I'm gonna cut his hand life to half. But with this little hand I have, I will try to survive or draw a PG or shields out of it. Like 15k shield is what one of the things I needed. I will have saved a little more shields on his turn here. I'm putting it on 2 cards there. Actually, I was hoping he was thinking that that's a PG. Yeah, trying to play a mind game on him. But I don't know if he catch up to it. I try not to make it obvious, but I try to make it obvious that I have a draw trigger. I don't know if he catch up, but because he has Elul. If he ever write Elul grade 3 on top of it and put Force 1 on the Vanguard Circle, I think I won't be able to guard this attack because it was too big. And then I misplayed on the Gear Cat. I should have locked it. So in this case, I calculated it last turn. With there's that many bind zones, I'm only able to do 1-2 pass. So I'm going with 4 cards here. 1-2 pass. This is the scariest time in my life. And I also take note that every time he uses Enter-Rana skill, there's always, in Gear Cat, there's always a trigger on it. So I calculate all his triggers. Most of the triggers should be gone by now. That's why a lot of the times he didn't check any triggers. See, like if he checked triggers here, I lose. But yeah, I was lucky. And then if I were able to top deck a Zirconium out of this, I was be able to lock the board again. But then I ended up not drawing to Zirconium. I was debating whether I want to use the Chaosbreaker skill again to. If I do, that means I won't be able to lock his front row again. So, and then unfortunately, with Chaosbreaker skill, I drew the Zirconium I needed. So if I had just stayed there, not using Chaosbreaker skill, I will top deck a Zirconium. So in here, I had 2 playstyle. Either I write Alter Ego or Harmonix Messiah. I have kept the last Alter Ego in my hand since the beginning of the game. So I had like just too many Alter Ego in my hand. In here I choose Harmonix is because there's a choice. There's a time I pick up Alter Ego, right, to get the Burst Monk. But that means if I didn't get grade 3, I won't get anything out of it. So, and I have so many grade 3s in my hand, so I ended up writing Harmonix. With Harmonix, I can discard the grade 3 and then draw shields out of it. That's what I was having in mind. I have Chaosbreaker in my hand and Alter Ego in my hand, so I don't that many shields. And then apparently this is the solid choice out of the right. So yeah, this one Harmonix is just amazing. It wants me games a lot of times. Oh yeah, fun fact, I also use the same deck list as my world for my BSF Toronto. I got 2nd place in it together with my teammates Chris Koo and Tin there. Good job, guys. Although we lose to the 1st place team, WCC Stephen Lee. Such an amazing player. Shout out to him. Yeah. And yeah, here my opponent looks at Harmonix, not knowing what it does, I guess. So yeah, I'm glad that my opponent doesn't know much about my cards, because if he does, it will have some advantage to it. So in here, with 2 CB, there's a choice I could get a Volco, but with 2 CB, I would rather get like a chance to get a 6 attack instead of 5 attacks. So in here, I'm already planning to get a Burst Monk out of it. And then I'm leaving out the Craving Claw unboosted, because if I ever get the trigger on the 2nd check on Harmonix, I can like put the trigger on the Craving Claw and boost with the Burst Monk that I'm about to get. But if I get 1st check, I have this mentality when I start in Worlds. If my 1st check was a trigger and it's 2 to pass, I'll put all into Vanguard. And if you guys watch the actual video, the commentator was like shouting, Toku there. It was like 1st check, oh, trigger. Yeah, it's a. Yeah, I was hoping to heal at least once. It will definitely put him in better situation. And yeah, 2 to pass, so 1st check triggers, I'll put all in. In here, I misplayed. I should have counterblast the Volco and heal the Volco, which later game almost cost me game. But yeah, I was too hastily because I was too excited to just keep playing, pushing out the pressure on him, my opponent here. But yeah, I didn't expect to actually cut down his hand to 0, but I just did. So you know, I was pretty excited towards that. And I have a hand again, 8 cards with 0 front row, Steam Maiden, top decking. He definitely has to play harder, and didn't give him any force, which is good. He didn't ride the Elul. Yeah, I was pretty lucky here. 8 cards, and I believe there's 2 PGs in it, so I feel pretty safe. And yeah, my opponent's thinking because I just basically took all of his resources. Become healthy. Harmonix was a solid choice. I didn't write Alter Ego, which is okay. I guess I was able to switch my bad hands, become a lot of shields after that. Yeah, and yeah, basically without the force marker, there's no pressure on my deck. And each attack is like what, 26. There's like the gear cat's like a 10k booster, I believe. 18k booster. I think there's a 10 cards in my zone there. Yeah, I was able to guard pretty easily. I'm actually considering to take this, which I regret not doing it because the top deck right there, the next turn I drew into a heal trigger. My opponent's at 4, so I will have healed the card and get a defensive check. But yeah, I'm guarding aggressively just in case there's some unexpected big numbers, because I give him 2 counterblasts there. That means he can do a total of 6 or 7 attacks. Yeah, I was being cautious. I should have taken this first attack. Yeah, he's Vanguard swinging here. I was pretty confident I could survive this turn, but yeah, that top deck taking damage. I was planning to take this grade 2 damage, but since he's twin drive here, in a bit, he's gonna check a critical. He was debating whether I'm attacking the grade 2 first, but yeah, he ended up choosing attacking the Vanguard. And his twin drive is pretty strong, so I was calculating pretty aggressively too, in which I should have taken the first attack on the grade 1 swing. I was surprised he didn't go to Uluru though, because with Uluru you can get more attacks, but yeah, I'm surprised. But he got a crit and a draw, I believe, and that actually like sealed out my chance to take a 1 damage. And I should have taken the first damage. I didn't know. I guess I was playing too safe. I don't want to randomly die if I didn't get any triggers. So yeah, I PG'd here because that Rigard has a crit. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go to Uluru first, because with Uluru grade 0 you can countercharge and stay on grade 3 Elul there, and has a better line, I believe. But yeah, I'm surprised he actually used the free jump to grade 4, which is, I personally think it's not a good play, because the Zulu just stand there. He doesn't. I'm sure like he reads the harmonics. He doesn't want to give me damage because he doesn't want multi-tech, but I already have Alter Ego since the beginning of the game. I've been keeping it since the first turn. Like, I have 2 Alter Ego, so yeah, I don't need CB with Alter Ego. In here, see, if I had healed a Volko here, and the turn earlier, I was able to revive it and then just swing bigger. But because of that, it almost cost me games. Good thing his shield level, he guarded wrongly too, I believe. Like in here, I'm just pushing because I know this is the final turn. If I cannot kill him this turn, I will die next turn. So I was hoping I can kill him this turn. And just swing with Volko. And counting from his shields, he shouldn't be able to guard all these attacks. And yeah, shifting is forced to there because I it's just showing how the anime does, right? the V series anime, they do that. Not sideways, but yeah, that calling the Lagrange is actually pretty helpful, because Volko swing here. Yeah, he's counting his hand there, and basically he realized that he was able to guard it. So yeah, he takes it to heal. I was surprised he get heal 6 damage, which is actually almost cost me game. So I unlock everything like so in this case he has three types of guards: a PG, a 15k, and an Uluru. And then if he actually he counted my triggers. We both count our triggers, my triggers. I have a feeling I won't check that many triggers anymore because a lot of stuff going on already, and I didn't get to take my grade 3s from the burst bong. So I I had a feeling my draft check will be pretty bad, and yeah, I see like almost 10 triggers already out. And then my deck is still pretty thick, I'll say. And it's just like my opponent there is overguarding. So if he calculate the number correctly, if he guarded 15k in here for 1 to pass, and then if I didn't get to check a trigger, and a PG the Volko, and then he used Uluru on the Zirconium, he will have survived this turn. But I guess he was being too overcautious. I'm not sure if it's like he forgot about the Volko. Gain 10k to the Zirconium. But yeah, if see, my draft check was blank. I had 1 copy of Bounder, which actually wins me games later at round 4 against Hazik from Malaysia. Volko is easy PG guard, and then Volko skill plus 10k to Zirconium. So yeah, if he saved that Uluru for this attack, he will have won. But he didn't risk on the first attack or 15k shield for 1 to pass. So I was safe. I was lucky. So that's it for round 2, guys. Yeah, thank you for watching. Here's the deck list, and enjoy. I've talked about why I play a certain card on my decks on my other previous videos. Check it out.